All right, it's Sunday night. It's about 8 o'clock. I guess in this video, I'm not even sure where I started off, but you'll find out what happens in this episode. Stay tuned. All right, so it's currently Thursday night. Did get some progress made, actually. I didn't record any of this, but we went ahead and got the crimping tool. So we have our injection lines from the fuel rail to every individual runner here made. And on the driver's side, I also got the injection lines with the 3 going to the blower here in the front, and then the 4th line going to the rear. We kind of got our blower belt mocked up. We went ahead and took the spacer, or the neck I should say, off of my old blower so it doesn't match color, but that's all right. Gotta do what we gotta do. So the belt's on, lined up. Went ahead and took the other 2 butterflies out. If you've seen in some of the previous videos, I had 1 painted. So I've got the other 2 mocked up, all scuffed up I should say. Went ahead and got the crossover fuel rail, returned to the regulators done, and also that line over there that's feeding the rail is done from the filter. These lower rails are done as far as injection hoses. I'm going to work on the upper 3, and then we need to unhook everything, pull it out. I just like to at least shoot a little bit of paint on that firewall before we get carried away. And now Jason's working on setting up a punch for the EGT so we can get that done. And then we got to work on wiring, which is going to be the biggest nightmare in my opinion. So, oh, also some updates. I don't know if I showed that or not, but we got all of our pieces in, I do believe, as far as like our shut-off cable, which is here, and shut-off fittings, everything all figured out. Just need to figure out how we're going to loop this back. We're going to point these 90s direct to each other as far as the loop line for when the pump shut off, so the pump doesn't deadhead or loop them up in the air like we kind of show the fittings there. I do need to make a bracket for the cable for both down at the pump and inside the truck. So that's enough rambling. Let's get to work and finish this stuff up. So that way, I don't know if I said, today's Thursday. We leave Sunday night now due to the dyno session getting moved, which is Monday. We got a lot of work to do. So main thing, EGTs, second injector harness, so we can hear this thing run in this video. Would you look at that? Just look at it. See if this fits. Oh, got shit on the valve cover. Got that shit everywhere, he says. It's Friday morning, and it's a shitty one here. Absolutely hate snow. I'm sure the kids love it, but I'm beyond that point. Last night, went ahead, got the butterflies painted, and spray paint obviously is dry in 20 minutes or an hour, but it's not fully cured for several days or possibly even weeks. So sliding them back into this hat, will scrape them up, and I had to already touch this one up, but we'll let those sit for as long as possible. Also went ahead and got the driver's header done. So the EGT 3 are on top, and then the 4th one is down. Probably can't see down on the bottom side there. Also went ahead, did not get this, but I went ahead and got the blower pulled ahead. Just shot some gray primer, just at least something on top of that bare steel. Got our new longer blower studs in there. That's ready to go. So all this stuff can be buttoned back up. Tighten all the jets up in every one of the nozzles. All that needs done. I can get these injection lines on there finally and be done with that. Then we need to finish up the passenger header. So now I know these headers are not the greatest weld quality by no means, and I don't really care. Nor are the EGT welds, because I went to power on the helmet last night and the batteries were dead. So it was just a squint, squeeze the trigger, see what you got. but they're at least on there, so they're welded. This one's good to go. Just need to get all the probes in there, get the depth set for the probe, get those tightened up, and then the passenger side will be done. So I think the goal for today is, since it's just me and obviously Nate, since it's Friday, I'm gonna start working on some wiring and tidying up some of the fuel rails and get all my injectors and stuff put in there. And that way we'll be one step closer. Hopefully I can knock most of this wiring out. Jason can finish up EGTs, a couple fuel line fittings. So enough rambling, let's get back to it.
Press the button. See what happens. A tank? What the? A tank. What the heck?
Alright, so we got the wires hooked up, the main wires, just to test the Dominator, make sure it's good with 16 volts. Maybe we'll just turn the fans or something on. I don't have any coolant in it, so test the fan to see what those are like. So first off, let's go for ignition. Well, we can see the EGTs are powering up, nothing's plugged in, or programmed in here, I should say. $17 volts. Let's watch out, Nate. Let's trip a fan on. We'll just do the auxiliary fan because the other one turns on with the water pump. Let's see what she sounds like. Oh yeah. Wow, that thing's moving some air, and that's just one fan. So plus running methanol is already going to keep the motor a lot cooler than what it was before anyways. But okay, let's continue on.
Can I sit on your lap?
So I should be doing plenty of other things, but I just couldn't resist the fact that I wanted to put those Moran Racing injectors in there. Went ahead, driver's side, got everything sealed up with some thread sealant, got all of our jets tight going in on the ports and on the hat, and also got all the lines tightened up. So at this point, we can go ahead and test out this billet fuel rail that we made, get the Moran injectors for all of our lower ports, and again, our 160-pound Holley injectors are going to go for the upper ones. Let's put those in there. I want to see what this thing looks like. We've got the fuel lines made for that part of it, so it should well pretty much be complete. I got all the spacers here from my brother. He made these. Ordered some bolts from McMaster Cars, so we'd have some stainless steel Allen bolts that will be hidden up underneath. Let's get to it. All right, Saturday morning. We should have probably had more done on the truck by now, but we had a small issue. So when we drilled the lower rails on here with the special injector bit that I had purchased, it didn't quite go in far enough for these injectors because they got a longer extension on them for the sprayer, and the second O-ring was not going in. So I went back over, had my brother re-drill down inside both of those steps with our own bits, and we were able to get those down. That's just grease on this one, but so the Holley ones were fine. The Moran Racing injectors, just due to that second O-ring, were not fitting properly. But as you see on the passenger side there, we've got all 8 injectors in that side, 4 of the Holley and 4 of the 550 Morans. And we'll get our wiring all hooked up, but this side's all complete with all the injector lines, top and bottom. So we'll continue on from there. All right, guys, we're 9:15 Saturday night. Been working on this all day, and yeah, it's not gonna run, so. You can't ruin it. Okay, well, hopefully it's gonna run. We don't know for sure. We gotta switch a couple things back. All the EGTs are all wired up. I believe I have all the second injector sets all wired up. We'll find out. I know the EGTs are working. Jason's got to get the O2 sensor hooked back up. I was working on wiring a second one of those. Obviously, the butterflies are painted. He's got the methanol jug over here. We're going to pump for our fuel cell, and then we just need to make sure we can get the system primed up. And we're going to be ready to fire this bad boy up. So hopefully all goes well. So we'll get the tripod set up here shortly and check for fuel flow to the pump, and then try and crank this bad boy over. We got to set timing, we got to do initial timing and stuff like that. So we got a few things to do, but we can at least get it to fire so we can hear it run. Tomorrow we got to leave, so I'd like to hear it run tonight so that way we can wrap up the last of the things tomorrow. So let's get to it. more and get out. So, cranking. All right, Sunday morning, it's about 9 o'clock. Yeah, almost 9 o'clock. And Jason's over here. Wait, taking fuel lines back apart?
I need practice.
Well, last night when we were cranking it over there, we were getting ready to fire it up, and we never could get any fuel pressure out of the pump. So we believe we were maybe possibly reading the directions wrong on this pump for which way it was going. So now I've got this bracket for our shutoff and everything already made. We're gonna flip it around, give it another shot. When they say front of pump, they're showing this in the description. I believe maybe they possibly mean most people would normally mount these off the block the other direction. So hopefully we're just 180 off. We can get it to prime up. We've had it apart, looked at it, and that's the only thing we can see. So later this morning, it'll probably be another half hour, 45 minutes. We will get the methanol dumped back in. Jason will get these hoses made up, and we'll go for attempt number 2. Let's scratch them up.
Yeah. Let's just round it off.
Well, we're gonna need new fittings.
Okay. Well, it's not gonna have fuel pressure till we cap this back off after we get fuel.
I should see something.
It's just
Go
gonna
right
be-
past the sensor.
It's gotta go up through a lot of lines. I mean, it wasn't like spraying out down here. Ready? Yeah. So what we had going on there, Jason's gonna back the truck out right now. We are all loaded up, ready to head out. Good and bad news. So bad news, we can't get the other 8 injectors working. I hope Steve is able to help us on that and doesn't leave us hanging. I don't think he would do that, but I understand we're coming there. We're supposed to have a truck that ran. It does run, as you heard there. Just kind of got crunched for time to get any footage of anything actually running other than those few startups. We did get a title and everything, but that's the bad news. Good news is we are loaded up. 8 o'clock, like I said, we're heading out, and we should be there. We're gonna stop somewhere through the middle of the night. Need to save on cost, so we're just gonna sleep with the truck somewhere. As long as Jason doesn't jackknife the trailer. All right. Whoa! All right. Well, that wasn't a joke. He might actually jackknife it. Maybe we want to get out there and take a look. All right, I'm gonna step out in the dark here, guys. So, like I said, that's gonna be a wrap. stay tuned. Next video, Steve Morris dyno session. Let's hope like hell he can help us out, get this thing running top notch. 1500 horse, brought the party pulley as well. So let's do this thing.